Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Deborah Patterson, Mind, Body, Soul, Life Challenges Coach with Positive Alternatives, where our purpose is to help you engage life's challenges so that the best you can live your best life. In a previous video, we shared some information about stress. And I just want to share today that one way to lessen stress in your life is to recognize the presence of noncompliance. Often we hear the word noncompliant, and we usually associate it with the patient who is not taking their medication as the doctor has prescribed it, or perhaps someone who is not keeping their doctor's appointments as they should. Both of these examples are examples of non-compliance, but non-compliance can be so subtle that we may not even recognize it. Non-compliance in its simplest form is a refusal or failure to do something that is required of us. In the example of the patient who was not taking the medication as prescribed, the doctor-patient relationship implies that the patient will keep their part by following the instructions so as to help their health. When this does not happen, there are often complications. Sometimes additional treatment is required, and it can lead to unfavorable outcomes. The reasons for noncompliance can be many, but for the purpose of this video, we are not referring to those situations where there is a language barrier, those situations where there's a lack of understanding of what the doctor has said on the part of the individual. We're not speaking about a lack of transportation or a patient who does not have the resources that they need to actually purchase the medication. But we want to look for a moment at the non-compliance that often results in our lives because of the way we think about things that may not particularly be things that we want to do and that show up in the choices that we make. One thing I want to mention before we look at that is the fact that non-compliance may sometimes be the result of a physical or a mental issue. Around 12 years ago, I was diagnosed with an underactive thyroid gland. I had no idea what was going on at the time. The only thing I knew was I was fatigued all of the time. I was having some situations as far as remembering things, just very tired. But I was falling short in meeting some of the requirements of my job. Although it was non-intentional, I still failed to comply with what was required of me. Take time to check on your health. You may have problems with your energy. You may have a situation with your motivation. And this may be due to a chemical imbalance or some other health issues. Noncompliance can cause problems in every aspect of life. In business, on our jobs, in relationships, in our careers. In all of these areas, there are things we have to do, whether we like it or not, because it's what we signed up for. You got to remember, we signed up for the requirements of the job, for what it takes to attend the class, for the charges that come with the cell phone service. We signed up even for the expectations that come with the relationship. If we said yes, now we must act accordingly. And this is where noncompliance comes in. What if we don't like some of the job's practices? We even agreed to the schedule that we have right now to get the job. Some of the company's practices are unfair. And we don't feel that the rent should be as high as it is with the space that we have. So now there's an underlying opposition, there is an objection, there is a resistance on our part that results in our failure to do what is required of us. I think this is important to talk about because I have seen some of the devastation noncompliance has caused in people's lives. They let us go on our last job because we literally refused to get to work on time. If we never recognize our noncompliance, if we never own this is a behavior that has actually hurt me, it can cause me to just keep doing the same thing over and over again, banging into the same walls, going through some of the same situations again and again, simply because there are consequences for the choices that we make. Nip noncompliance today. By not doing what we want to, and by doing what we should do. Change isn't easy, but it is possible. When you nip something in the bud, you stop it or you prevent it at the beginning phase before it becomes unmanageable or too difficult to do anything with. Why? Experience and observation both show us that complying with those things we are required to do often offer us many benefits. Offers us the benefit of better health, the benefit of more opportunities for success, closer relationships, and even more peace of mind and less stress. Why wouldn't I do the things that can help me instead of those things that cause me problems? I don't imagine anyone really likes following instructions, but we don't like speeding tickets either, do we? You get the idea. The next time you are faced with complying with something that is required of you. Think more about the benefit you will receive. I hope this can help you in some way on your journey to nipping noncompliance. I wish you well as you empower your best self to live your best life. Deborah Patterson, helping you change life narratives, one challenge at a time. Signing off. Until next time, take care.